Welcome back to the Sports Animals coverage of Thunder Media Day. Gideon Hamilton, Matt Ravis, and Josh Giddey. So we're doing pre- and post-game when you guys are doing media availability, so we don't get a chance to talk to you. So I'm actually going to go back a little ways for mine. Midway through your rookie year, we're biologically programmed to ask you about rookie wall, right? And so you talked about being motivated to play. Talk about Andrew Bogut, finding some things outside of basketball to focus on. And it's just so tough because not only do you have the playing aspect and the preparing, but also the travel. But he talked about maybe, kind of shutting your mind off and getting away from basketball. And I wondered how you dealt with that process and how difficult it is still, a couple of years in.
Yeah, the rookie wall is a real thing. And I think players – you think they're invisible when they come in as a rookie, and you think, I'm not going to hit it. I'll be fine. I'll pass that. But it's a real thing. And I think the main reason is because none of us have played anywhere near that amount of games before. And once you get to, game 40, 50, it feels like it's such a slug and you're trying to get through it and, grind those games out. But that's for me when I found like I hit it at about game 30 or 40. And the big thing for me was, reaching out to other people that have been through it and asking how they dealt with it. And Bogut was a big one for me because, he's the number one pick. He was,
sure.
A lot of pressure on him when he came into the NBA. And he just said, find things outside of basketball to take your mind off it and distract it. And that's what really helped me. I did it same thing in my second year when I went through what they call the second year, the sophomore slump. And I went through that as well. And, just finding ways to distract yourself is very important. And once I did that, the game became a little easier and, I took a little bit of pressure off myself.
There were two games in particular. I think there were games 8 and 10, and it was Toronto and Boston. They've got a couple of really difficult wing defenders. Boston in particular, every time you did that spin, it was right into Marcus or Jalen. I remember that game vividly. It wasn't too long after that you started to, it seemed like anyway, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, you started to do more stuff off the ball and cutting and using mismatches a lot more when you were on the ball. I wonder if you could kind of take me through that process of how you evolved last year in terms of your role on the team.
Yeah, no, that was exactly the kind of point for me where I felt like that, maybe I was forcing stuff or I was trying to do things outside of the team system. And I still remember we played in, I don't know where it was. Anyway, we ended up in Memphis. It might have been after a Washington game. We ended up in Memphis and me and coach sat down and we spoke for probably a good 45 minutes just about ways that this is when I was going through a tough stretch. And he was the big one that got me back on track. And he kind of released that pressure that I was putting on myself. And, it feels like when you stack, you have one bad game and it rolls onto the next and it feels like it's just spiraling. And then it gets to a point where you're forcing your way out of it. But he was big in taking the pressure off me and telling me to go back to play my natural game and let the game come to me. And that's when I found things a lot easier. And he was huge in that aspect. And he did it in my rookie year as well. But just in taking that pressure off myself and, kind of putting me back on track and putting me back inside the team and where I felt like I was drifting away from it because I was trying to get myself back into, some good form.
Sure.
He was huge in that for me and did an awesome job in getting me right back on the right track.
Seems like you enjoyed your time at the World Cup. Talk about that and some of the positives you can bring back.
World Cup was awesome. Very fun. I mean, I've wanted to play for Australia at a big tournament for a long time. And, obviously we didn't finish the tournament the way we wanted to. And I think that just goes to show in a World Cup, you lose one game and it puts your tournament, right on the edge and on rocky waters. And we lost that game to Germany by, 2 or 3 points. And it puts us in a win or go home game against Slovenia, who's a really good team. And they beat us and that eliminated us from the tournament. So it can happen in a split second. And all the finer details really matter in the World Cup. And I'm excited. We've got the Paris Olympics coming up in 9 months. So it's another chance for us to get back on the podium and hopefully leave there with a medal.
And you mentioned talking with Andrew Bogut about finding things outside of basketball. What are those things?
Well, he suggested poker. That was his big suggestion. he did. But for me, it was just video games. And my best friend lives with me, so he was a great distraction to have. And just taking my mind off the game. And whatever it was, whether it was watching Netflix, FaceTiming friends and family back home, PlayStation, whatever it was, I just had to find ways because I would usually come home and all I'd do is, watch film, watch other NBA games. And it was just all about basketball. But once I kind of separated the two, I found myself, finding the game, playing, and doing things around the team a lot easier.
How excited are you to play with Chet Holmgren?
Very. I mean, for a guy like myself, playing with him is like a dream come true. And we had a little taste of it in some league, and in the summer when we were playing, in open runs, and it just felt like the chemistry was there from day one. And I still remember the first day he got drafted, he got in, he landed in OKC, he had a team dinner, and the very first day he texted me, he said, "Can we get in the gym?" And this was his first day in Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
From that point on, I knew that he works hard. He's always in the gym. He's always finding ways to get better. And as I said, for a pass first guard like myself, playing with a big that is a lob threat that can stretch the floor and shoot the ball, is just a perfect scenario for me. So I'm excited for him to come back, and we've got to find ways to integrate him into the team without also messing up the flow that we've had for the last 2 years. So he's awesome in that aspect. He knows that he doesn't have to come in and try to change the whole landscape of what we're doing. But if he can come in, do his part, that he's going to take our team to another level.
Good luck this year.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for stopping by. Josh
Thanks, Josh.
Giddey.